Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Harvey County Talk. I am your host, Lance Gormley. Our guest on the program today is Pam Stevens, who is the Newton Area Chamber of Commerce Director. How are you doing today, Pam?
I'm doing great.
Good. Thanks for coming out on the program and having a conversation. Yeah, I'm
excited to be here.
Yeah, so, I have to say, when I called you, I was a little bit nervous because I was like, man, this year, what we want to really do is focus on business, entrepreneurship, who's involved in that, how do people get involved in that, and we're coming off of a year of extraordinary successes. So if anybody who watched the program knows, the last Harvey County Talk was with Beth Shelton, who is the director for Harvey County Economic Development, and Rod Cry, who is the chair for Harvey County Economic Development. So they're pretty much as high as we want to go. But after that, then if you're looking or been in business at all, then you know who Pam is when it comes to the Chamber of Commerce. Because you've been doing this a while, haven't you, Pam?
Yeah. I kind of started at the Chamber in 2005 as a membership director, and then left in 2011 and came back in 2013 as a director and have been there since.
Okay. So a lot of things that people talk about as far as that's been going on in the community, whether it's a quick trip popping up or a business expanding, you're involved in that 9 times out of 10, right?
Yeah, we're the kind of the 911 for the community, we call ourselves, because people are calling us all the time. We'd like to see this. We'd like to see that. Always giving us their opinions and wanting to know what's going on. So they know the chamber usually is in the know, so that's why they give us a call.
Okay, so going back to what you were saying as far as when you first got involved in the chamber, you were the membership director. What kind of does a membership director do for the chamber?
You're out recruiting members to be part of the chamber and then working with your current membership to know what their needs are and continue to grow the chamber, because that's mostly how we're funded, is through our membership dues. Okay. So that and some of our fundraising we do. We also have a contract with the city to do downtown promotions. Okay.
So you're kind of the boots on the ground in that scenario, right?
Yep.
You're out there
the fundraiser,
shaking hands and the whole deal. So that's interesting. Is that's something that the chamber does? You said that you go out and you try to recruit new members. So just getting into it, if you're the membership director and I'm somebody that maybe didn't hear about the chamber or doesn't know what the chamber does, was there something that you really did to go out there and promote what the chamber has to offer, or kind of what's a conversation that maybe a membership director and you and somebody who's you're trying to recruit might have? Yeah,
and what I tell them is we provide them lots of opportunity to grow their business, but we can't grow their business for them. We're there as a tool. And so come to the networking events. I mean, people are more apt to do business with you if you come to our events. And if you've been to our chamber breakfast, that's one of the best things. I hear people come in from outside our community and come to our chamber breakfast and they're like, wow, this is crazy. This many people get up in the morning at 7:15. It's not my finest hour, but, it doesn't interfere with the day. Yeah. And, we have reports from all the community partners. We have somebody that's a sponsor. And so you learn about a business, but then you also know what's going on. And so Virgil Pinner started that years ago, and we've continued. We had a little rough patch with COVID, but our numbers are back up over 100, and people love to come to our breakfast.
So if you're the membership director, and kind of what I'm hearing you say is if getting involved with the chamber, something you'd tell me is that there's great networking that goes on. Mm-hmm. There's a chamber breakfast that you can go to that provides awesome opportunity. Yeah. I'll tell you that personally. I know that. Another one would be that I don't know. I've heard many things that have happened over the course of, since you were first the membership director. So what kind of things are enticing to somebody? If you're the point person now, but I'm sure they have a membership director. Who's the membership director right now?
Terry Anderson's our new membership director. She's awesome. She's a go-getter. She loves telling people the story about the chamber. We also have a Bethel College intern that he's like, started working with, and he's like, I'm going to tell my brother he's opening a new business in Dallas. He needs to go to the chamber right away because he's starting to see the value. We provide lots of different things. One of the things we're just getting ready to do is leadership training. And we've worked to really redo the chamber membership or the chamber leadership because we went through a rough patch, and then Scott Metzler, who's a retired fire chief, has put together a new curriculum, and we're in our 4th time of providing his leadership class, and it's just growing by leaps and bounds. People are getting the message of what we're doing. And it's not just, our banks that are doing it, it's our manufacturers that are sending people and realizing the importance of giving their people leadership training and how that really helps when they come back to their workplace.
Yeah, and when you talk about a chamber, and you mentioned big corporations and these entities, this might be the only opportunity for small business owners who to be able to network with a larger group of other small business owners as well as larger corporations and benefit the same way that others. I mean, maybe they don't have the money to, that's a big value. What you're talking about right now.
And like we have our representatives from the state that are there. Representative Owens is always at breakfast. So our people are accessible. The superintendent of schools there, Val Gleason, that's the CEO and president of NMC Health, is there. You have, contact with those people face to face, which is very difficult to get on a normal basis.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, that's, and then they give briefs too, right? I mean, to even say kind of what's going on. So it might be an only opportunity or one of few that you have to hear it from, well, I hate to use this term, but from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
And then I've known by being there, they're all open for questions to be asked afterwards.
And there's a lot of connections that goes on afterwards of people, networking with each other. We have that going on with Hutton right now with the growth that's going on in our community, wanting to be involved. How can they help? It's just a great place that we're in right now. There's just so much happening. And I just left a Healthy Harvey Coalition where we talked about all the great things in the community, and economic development's one of those. In order to grow, we can spread those utilities and those other payments over more people than less. You have to have economic development growth to happen to spread the taxes.
So would you say that in terms of coming to a community and looking at the possibility of investing in business or looking for employees or whatever the case may be, or even being an existing business here, by joining the chamber, what impact can that make to a company by doing that?
It can do a lot. Right now we became in probably, I think, 2011, a Network Kansas e-commerce community, which means we can do gap financing. We have now done, I think we just finished our 10th loan, and we've done over $200,000 in investment in new entrepreneurs. Some are businesses that are already existing in Newton that are expanding, and some are just getting started. So that's exciting to me, to see new growth in our community that's adding more amenities to our community.
And that the chamber can impact something in that way. I mean, that's a big impact.
Yeah.
When you think about starting out a business, trying to expand a business, there's a lot of money that's involved in doing that. And there's a lot of hope, I'll say this, that the markets stay strong and that you're able to accomplish some things, but then to be able to have another entity or organization rooting for you, trying to help you get across that finish line, I mean, that's something important. Awesome.
Yeah, because when we became an e-commerce community, then COVID hit, and so then people wanted free money. They wanted grants, which we were, out there spreading our information that we knew about what was available. But now people are really finding us, in the words getting out, that we have this gap financing. And it's at a very low interest rates with bank rates up high. We do require a bank loan, and then we kind of finish that gap that they may need. Okay. It's a 40-60. Okay. We do only loan up to about $45,000, and at the highest, if you do 6 to 10 years, it's a 4% loan, and we don't ask for collateral. Okay. So very, very, appetizing for those that are looking. We also then have Grow Kansas loan that's available that goes higher up to $1 million. So we have ways to put several loans together. We've already done our first Grow Kansas loan, and we're looking to do another one. So we've been very busy with loans
Now,
this past year.
does this have to do with the chamber then? Do people have to be businesses have to be part of the chamber to reap the rewards of that?
What we require is once that they do a loan with us, that they have to be part of the chamber the length of the loan.
Okay.
Just because we want that connection for them
Yeah.
in order to be successful.
Yeah.
And we've not had a problem with that.
Well, I wouldn't
Yeah.
think that's a huge
Yeah.
request to be
Yeah.
made,
No,
right?
no.
That's awesome. Okay, so there was something that I'm really interested in, and I hate to just throw this on you because I'm sure it's very complex, but something that I was very interested in. I sent a lot of small business owners that I was talking to that were interested in it, that knew I was a personal member of the chamber. It didn't affect me much, but it has to do with the healthcare package of some kind that you all have been able to get together as a group, the chamber.
Yeah.
And then if employees have, or companies have a certain amount of employees, there's some requirements there,
Yeah.
that then they can enter into a group plan through health insurance, which then helps lighten a burden of a company. I mean, you're talking
Yeah, health insurance is a huge
Wow.
issue right now. And so what happened is our state chamber execs of Kansas put together a package that we could offer, since we were a member of that organization, to offer to our members with health insurance. And so we're in our second year. It's going well. They just keep kind of changing it and tweaking it a little bit. So yeah, that's one of our big things that we knew people had a big issue of. That's one of the biggest expenses for companies.
Yes.
Is health insurance.
Yeah, in
so
some
we're
instances-
excited to offer that.
Yeah, in some instances, it might be the one thing that allows them to employ one or two more people. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
it's a huge expense to think how people are navigating this. And I can tell you, insurances and this and that, they change consistently all the time.
They do. They do. And it might be the difference of keeping an employee or not.
Yeah.
Because they are looking for benefits. In a tight labor market, people can switch jobs easily depending on what they get as their package. So health insurance is something almost all companies are having to offer anymore to keep their employees.
Yeah, and going back to the chamber breakfast, I mean, that's a huge deal. I've been there, and I can personally say it's amazing. I don't know what the count is on a month to month, but
Yeah.
it's always packed. There's always people there. It's a good crowd. Everybody's respectful, and there's always some good information about a topic or a subject matter, which I'm interested in, because people who are part of the chamber can utilize that time. They can request that time, pay for that time, whatever that is, sponsor a breakfast to be able to get their message, their business out in front of, well, every business owner in the
That's
community,
right?
right?
That's right. And, it's a captive audience. You've got, 15 to 20 minutes to talk about it's pretty reasonable. And it's just a great way to kind of tell what new you're doing at your business.
Yeah.
We had Prairie View recently that talked about all their new developments that they're doing. It's just, it keeps you in the know what's going on in the community. We try to keep it fresh so that we have new stuff. And then Christmas time is one of our favorite ones too, where we sing Christmas carols at the end, and it's festive.
Yeah.
So people really come for sure on that Christmas breakfast.
Yeah,
in
and
December.
who doesn't like to sit together and eat together and be able to enjoy the company of everyone who, on some form or fashion, is all headed in the same direction?
That's right. It's a very positive group, and that's one of the things I hate when I start talking at the breakfast is breaking up that conversation, because I love it. I love people are talking with each other. I think we missed that with COVID. We were all more on Zoom. We weren't connected, and now people really are craving that connection back with people.
Yeah. And this is not something that you have to be, common misconception I want to clear up, right? You don't have to be a business owner to be part of the chamber. You can be a personal individual, maybe a sole proprietor, who just wants to be a part of the chamber and have networking through that and experience some of the things we're talking about.
Yeah, and we even invite people that want to come see it for the first time before they join the chamber. I feel like if I can get them to breakfast, they'll see the value and they'll come.
Yeah.
Usually that happens. So we let people come as a guest. We announce our new chamber members and let them have some spotlight. So that's good that people know somebody's new that's joined the chamber. So just lots of good things that happen at breakfast.
Yeah, friendships made.
Yes,
Would you agree? Friendships made, relationships made. Yeah, I've never had a poor experience when going. I'm not a frequent flyer, but I do go, and I'll just tell you, Pam. I mean, what you all do is very beneficial to the community. It's very inviting to people that want to be there. I go in there, and every time I go in there, I have more people that are saying hi to me, patting me on the shoulder, shaking my hand, and just good to see you.
Good. And you can come however you come to work. Some are in business suits, some are in jeans. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. We're just glad to have you there. And I know the school district's been bringing some of their principals there.
Yep.
Just getting them more involved in the community and having that connection is really good for our community as well.
Yeah. Okay. So just on the, we talked about what you can get on a monthly basis, right? As far as having breakfast and fraternity and stuff. And I know that the chamber is much more visible than that, but almost in a way in which I think we know a lot of the activities and may participate in the community and the activities that the chamber is really responsible for, play a major role in, but don't realize that the chamber's the one pushing the weight behind it, right? So what are some of the things that that people in the community who might not know the chamber is involved with is participating in something unbeknownst to themselves?
Yeah, one of the things that we're working on, that's some of the chamber initiatives that's a part of our goals, is transportation and childcare. So I'm on a task force right now with transportation. We're trying to work to write a grant that's due February 28th. So there's a group of leaders that have been meeting the last several months to do a planning grant so we can figure out how we can better supply some transportation in our community. We're spread out. Yeah. We got North Newton at one end, we've got NMC Health and Walmart at the other end. How do we get people? That's too much for people to walk or ride bikes. So we're trying to figure out, could we come up with a plan for some type of transportation? We have a cab service that only runs till like 5 o'clock at night. After that, there's no way to get around. There's not Ubers necessarily so much in our community. How can we provide transportation?
Yeah. And so if a company or an individual came in and said, you know, I've been looking at the possibility of figuring out how to do this for a lot of years now, but, you know, these are the obstacles of what I'm trying to accomplish, you would be the person to network with.
Or I can connect you to the right person.
Right, because ultimately it's about, the business is about propping up and helping establish and maintain businesses and organizations that want to be able to fill this need, correct?
Correct. And I think living in the community over 40 years, I have a lot of connections. My husband was involved in the business community. That's how I knew a lot of people before I came to the chamber, and then met a whole new group of people I had never met before. So I think living in the community, this is my home now. I've lived here longer than I grew up in my community of Sterling, Kansas. I've been here most of my adult life, and this is where my kids are. I've raised my kids. They both live here, and my son's married and has 3 kids that are in the school district. So I truly care about the community.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll take into consideration asking for things that the chamber does that might not be so visible. If anybody driving down Main Street sees any of the new flags that we have on dang near every telephone pole. And at first, when I read it, I thought, well, it's just going to be in certain locations. And I realized, oh no, this is like a rolling out the pride of Newton right here on our Main Street. And I know that was largely orchestrated by the chamber. So like, are there festivals? Where does the chamber come into?
I think what we're known for, one of our things that we've done for years, is the Taste of Newton.
Okay.
And, you know, recently we just got some information from a business or a company that's called Placer that lets you know kind of the data of the people that are attending your event. They track cell phones. They don't know your number. They don't know anything about you, but they can track cell phones, so they can let us know how many people are in the vicinity during that time. And we've learned we have over 10,000 people that are attending Taste of Newton. So we've always thought 6 to 9, but we were on the low end. 10,000s of people that have cell phones. You think of all the kids that are down there with their parents. It's just a great community event, and it's something people love.
Well, and if you're somebody who's thinking whether it might be a value now at this point in time to sign up, to do what it takes to be able to I mean, I know there's some requirements, but if you're at the Taste of Newton, which is a really, really cool event that we have here in Newton, it's not like everybody has the same thing and they're not producing it the same way. So if you're a company or an individual or organization that wants to go out there and promote your message and get donations or whatever you can, you're dealing with 10,000 people here.
Yeah, that's
10,000.
rare to get that many people down there. I think the only one is the car show, and it's a 2-day event that they bring in more than I do, but that's because it's 2 days. It's a Friday night and a Saturday all day. We're just from 6 to 9, which people start to come early now. We're having people at 5 o'clock, and I'm like, that's fine, but I'm not changing the hours, or they'll even come earlier. So it's a setup. I mean, we have K Electric that helps do all the electricity downtown. So and the city, they help with the trash, with the picnic tables, with everybody's involved. It feels like, so it's not just a chamber, it's a lot of help from different entities.
So maybe the idea that I'm presenting, which is that the chamber is leading this, is true, but you are all just the entity in which everybody gets to participate to make this stuff happen.
Correct.
So when you say the chamber, you're really saying Lance Gormley, because I'm part of the chamber.
You're my partner.
Saying, I couldn't think. I mean, there's so many. I don't want to throw because I know there are tons of companies and individuals that are part of it. So anybody that's part of it, you're saying those people are responsible for making that happen.
That's right. You're a partner. You're really not a member, even though it's a membership. You're a partner to make all this happen in our community, to make our community strong. You know, some of the things we've done is promote housing growth. We've fought for some of the apartment complexes that have come into town because we needed that. And our new industry that just came in said they picked Newton because of the housing growth that was happening. Yep. So, we made a few people mad, but people need a place to live.
Yeah.
And we're so easy to say, not in my neighborhood, but if not, where?
Yeah. Yeah. And I say this, after having endeavored to affect change or to do anything in a community, you can never please everybody. And I think that in my personal, I'm just throwing this out here to you, Pam, I think that when entities and organizations such as the chamber get together with all of these entities that are partial and privy to these decisions being made, whether beneficial or non-beneficial to them, then that's a group decision, right?
That's right.
So it's not like it's just Pam going out there and saying, hey, we need some apartments. You have the whole organization saying, hey, we need some more housing.
Well, for some reason at the chamber, we've kind of been the place where everybody calls for housing. Upstairs, Remax has a list of people that aren't realtors that they keep a list of rentals. And during COVID, we realized there was nothing out there. Our market really got slim. And so if you want to market people to move to Newton, you have to have housing.
Yeah.
We didn't have housing. So, that's so important for our growth in our school district, everything.
Yeah. And we're seeing, as anybody knows, tons of housing.
Yeah.
And that's great because then we're seeing it. That anybody that watched the interview that we did with Hillsborough's Industries, they professed that. They said one of the number one reasons why we chose to come here, what had a lot to do with the fact that you're building houses. So there's going to be places for people to move here to be employed by. And that is the ball rolling down the hill in the right direction, right?
Yeah, because what we were hearing from our industry is, if they hired somebody from Wichita and eventually they got tired of driving, they would just find a job in Wichita. So it was hard for our industry to keep their workforce because we didn't have housing. And so they were very vocal, and we're supporting our local businesses that if that's a need, then we need to support it.
Yeah. And so what are some of the things, we talk about some of the things that the chamber does on a monthly thing with the being able to break bread and the information you can get and the networking, on top of the fact that I know you're placed on a website too, if you're a member. So that way, when somebody Googles your company name or your name, then one of the first things that are going to come up is your information through the Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
Yeah.
So all our information's there that you need to find, and you can join through our chamber website as well. We prefer that way, we can then fill out the information online. It's easier for us, but we're working to get that even better. We, in the last several years, updated the website, so it's something we really need to really promote.
Well, and something I always watch if I'm not there in person, because I'm a kind of a ninny when it comes to being cold and whatnot and this time of year, but is ribbon cuttings.
Oh, yeah.
Can you kind of explain to the audience what, well, how do you get a ribbon cutting? Or, I mean, I watch them, I see it. There's groups of people that show up in support of a business, and sometimes I wonder if the business owner even knows who these people are.
Yeah, we just had one the other day for the new Mexican restaurant that's over there on 12th Street, and it was huge. We probably had over 50 people, and it's just a way people to get them into the business. They maybe haven't been in there yet, and makes them feel more comfortable. Businesses love it. Yeah. I mean, it's just a great way to really showcase what you have to offer. And boy, did they turn that building around. It looks totally different in there. So
yeah, it's amazing. I will say it's amazing. I didn't make it to the ribbon cutting, but I went to lunch afterwards.
There you go.
But I will say, looks amazing. Food was great. I have no complaints. You know, they were busy. They serviced us in a orderly fashion. I mean, there was 10 of us at a table, I think. So interesting. I'm questioning now at this while we're talking. I'm thinking on my feet here. But when you're doing some kind of a grand opening or something like that, for 50 people to show up and make a huge deal out of it for everybody in the community to see and take back and word of mouth and what you can see on social media that's provided through your social media presence and your website, that's hard to come up with.
Yeah, and that was huge for a new restaurant. We're working to do a new one for the library when it opens, and that will be huge.
Yeah,
that will be huge. And we're working one with the school district on Lindley Hall. So we got to tour it the other day. My chamber board did, of what's happened inside. I mean, it was an unfortunate accident that happened, but wow, it's really changed the inside of that building.
Yeah, well, and interesting. You must have got some sneak peek view, because they're not doing one for a little bit here yet, are they? All right.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. You get to be a part of something like that too. And okay, so I'm seeing all these things. I'm seeing all this value added benefit, and you know, if you're somebody who's watching the program, you're seeing this value added benefit. What are some of the things that you all have that are upcoming that people can look forward to and say, you know, you said there was a few things that you were going to do as far as ribbon cuttings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what are some initiatives like what we had talked about with the visionary thinking of being able to just display our community pride by supporting our school systems?
Yeah,
both college and K through 12.
One of the big things we do with the school district is every year in August we do a new teacher breakfast, and it's huge. It's one of the best things I think we do for our community to welcome our new teachers. They're partnered with a business partner, and that business partner at breakfast introduces the new teacher. So it takes that pressure off of the new teacher to get up and talk about themselves. The business partner does. And then they get a bag of all kinds of goodies that the business community donates to the teachers as a gift of welcome to our community. So it's one of my favorite things that we do. But I grew up in a household of teachers. So my brother was a superintendent. My dad taught for years. My sister-in-law taught. So I just see the value of public education and how we have to be so supportive, especially with what's happening with our school enrollment declining. Yeah. We really got to support public education, because otherwise it just makes that gap bigger between the people that have and have not.
Yeah, and support our teachers, because, man, with the teacher shortages, it's becoming, responsibility is becoming greater. There's a lot going on in the household that was never going on before. And teachers are just tasked with the daily responsibility of caring for your child, making sure that not only are they safe, but that they hopefully are able to learn something throughout the day. And then not only that, but learn what they're supposed to learn and move on to that next level and so forth until, I mean, there's so many people that they just need to be celebrated, Pam. I agree with you. I think it's great.
Teachers need to be celebrated. They're not just teaching. They're, social workers. Yeah. Now we're having washers and dryers in our school districts in different buildings, just to be able to keep these kids, from being bullied because maybe they haven't washed their clothes for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So, we're really working to try to provide the best environment we can for our kids. And I think Fred's doing a great job. He's really focusing on test scores, which has been kind of a thing that has hurt us in the past on Zillow because our rankings have been low.
Yeah.
But that's not the true story.
Yeah.
Oh, God, we're having so many great success stories of students that have graduated from our Newton schools.
So, and even the chamber, I mean, the chamber is involved in partnering with the school district, right? If we're in a situation where we're seeing X, Y, and Z happen, which is not beneficial to the school district or is not good for our long-term plan or long-range plan, then the chamber will partner with all of these entities in an effort to try to change the course.
Yeah, and we're just getting ready to do a legislative update with our senator and our 2 representatives so that that's accessible for you to come, visit with them. They can give you an update with what's going on in Topeka. That's very important for a lot of people in our community.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their things that they do in Topeka affect our local level.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a member to do that,
No.
but that's just something, once again, that the chamber does, puts on, pays for, networks, whatever needs to happen for them to be able to accomplish that, so you can be a part of it.
Yeah, and we do it for, any candidates that are running for forums. We do candidate forums so you can get to know the candidates so that you have an opportunity to learn more about them.
Yeah, which I believe you all do a pretty darn good job at.
Thank you.
I've been there.
And I've attended your forum, which was good as well.
Yeah, I did one of those too. Many hands make light work.
It does. And you got to inform your community. And I just encourage people to get informed. It's so easy to be busy and say, I just don't have time. But you need to take time. It's important for our community to grow. And we are growing, which is very lucky for a community because it's so easy to go the other way if you aren't constantly working at it.
Yeah, and I'm going to do something here in the next few months after we go through interviewing a few more people that have made awesome impacts, such as yourself, to our business community, to organizations such as the Chamber, that are trying to bring about positive outcomes and changes for us. And it just has to do with property, or not property, but population shifts.
Yeah.
And how Kansas over the next 30 years is going to look a lot different, and how Newton, Harvey County, is able to sustain into the future as long as we keep doing exactly what we're doing. That's right now.
You got to add those type of amenities like the Y, walking paths, different things, because people are looking for more of that. They can work from anywhere. Some of them anymore can work remotely. So a lot of people are coming back to their home communities where they grew up to work because they want to come back and give back.
Yeah.
And so, it's changed a lot, but they are looking for school districts. That's important. I know Fred Van Rankin says, I'm not an economic driver, but I'm like, I know you're in the business to educate, but you are an economic driver for our community.
Yeah.
Because when you have great schools, people want to come to your community.
Yeah.
So we have some work to do, and Fred's really trying to work to see what he can do with that to get those test scores up and try to elevate our community.
Yeah, and I guess
challenging.
It is challenging, and I'd say I agree in some regard. I think Fred's heart is to educate, right, and not to be in the business of doing X, Y, or Z based upon whether or not it's going to produce a beneficial economic outcome, right? Because then that kind of changes the vision, and that might be what's necessary for the future, just given the fact that we are in a changing climate. I mean, it's
a more
everybody,
mobile climate.
Yes, everybody's experiencing the same thing, and that's one of the things we've tried to bring out is that when we see the rough patches that we've had to go through in our community is largely the same thing that others either are now or are going to have to go through, and it's another reason why I'm so thankful that you're here to sit down and have a discussion about how and what things the Chamber is doing in a positive way to impact the outcome of our future. And I'm a fan, Pam. I'm a fan. I gotta say it.
Thank you.
You're the face. Every time I call, not everybody's nice to me in my life, Pam, but every time I've called the Chamber, everybody's been cordial and nice to me. Even to way back the first time that I ever sat down and had a conversation with the Chamber, probably 6 years ago.
Yeah. And I think I have a great board, which really helps, drive the vision of the Chamber. I'm just the head of it, but I'm not the whole voice. We're a whole organization at our office. It takes all of us. And I'm just lucky to work with Beth Shelton. We do a lot of things back together. That's the economic development director. And so that's really nice to have that working relationship and work closely with her with whatever we can do to help. Yeah. I mean, I went to Indiana with them to see the GF factory. And so, you know, I've been involved with that part from the beginning. And so we really rallied the chamber members to come out and do a video for GF. And they said this last weekend when they were here that went a long way, more than we even know.
I was there for that, by goodness.
Thank you to those who came and helped did that video. It meant a lot.
Yeah,
it did. Took the community to say, we want you to quiet those voices that were being negative, that were small.
Yeah. That because this is something that's huge for our community.
It is. And sometimes those negative voices are loud because the ones that are for it are more, you know, quiet. And we need to learn to sometimes speak up because we could lose an opportunity because we don't speak up.
Yeah. And Pam, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Harvey County Talk. I know I'm not the only entity that is trying to promote things that are going on in our community. I mean, we got tons of that, right? Yeah. But really, it was the only one that was trying to promote it in this way.
Yeah. And if positive message.
Yes. And so if we don't control our own message and we don't get out there and we don't basically provide good and keep pumping good out there and what successes we have going on in our community and what positive benefits the chamber is and what role you play and how we have all these awesome rock stars in our own community that you can tie in, network with, and be a part of, then, you know, there's somebody else going to tell that story.
That's right. And you don't want them to tell that story. No. We want to be able to tell our story. So thank you for doing that and getting that positive message out, because sometimes we forget to tell our story.
Yeah.
We just are so busy in what we're doing that we don't get that message. So thank you for providing that avenue.
Well, thank you for doing it. Because you know, everybody knows could be critical, but there's not really much to be. I mean, you even have like you're understating it. I mean, there's even more things that there's a yearly fine dining dinner with entertainment, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we do our state cookout, it'll be coming up here in April, and then we have a golf tournament. But one of the other things too that's new this year we're doing, it's in the school district, it's doing a youth entrepreneurship challenge. We're really trying to create more entrepreneurs in our community. And so we're doing a challenge with Dee Dee Trumbull's JAG class. So on March 6th, we will be doing an event at the Meridian Center where they will present their business plan. They will have a trade show that the public will be invited to be able to come to, and then they'll have to do a presentation in front of judges and a executive summary that'll be judged ahead of time. And so we have 25 businesses coming in to present, and then the person that wins will go on to Kansas State and participate in April in the state championship. So,
see, and I guess, I don't know, I'm out of the loop on this, but where do you come up with this stuff, Pam? Because that's cool on so many levels.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were just to stop there and say, this is doing this, and all of these things are going to come from that. How many lives are you affecting? An entire community is getting on board behind this through an organization to support youngsters to think outside the box, to raise that ceiling higher than what they might otherwise have, and then to have a taste of that in a way in which you have shared partnerships that are rooting for you. And it's like the best way to teach children the way the chamber can affect their lives and the lives of all the businesses that are part of it.
And help them dream.
Yeah.
I mean, that when I attended Kansas State University, one of my favorite classes was small business operations. And that should have told me right then I should have been involved in the business community. So it's just fun to see these kids. And these kids are ones that really don't want to be in school. So if we can inspire them, because maybe they're not smart enough, it's just they don't like school.
Yeah.
So how can we help them like school? But by telling them about something they might be able to start a business that could work for themselves.
Yeah.
Find a need in the community and fill it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to have them go through. It's going to make them feel special. They'll come in and present, and then we'll have lunch and then have a couple entrepreneurs talk to them over lunch about their experience. So we're so excited to have our first one under our belt.
When is that coming up?
That's March 6th.
Okay.
It's a Wednesday. Yeah. So 9 to 1, but there'll be information coming out. I think it's 10 to 11 that the business community can come through the trade show.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
And it's fun to see all the different businesses that they came up with. We attended, Rick Tave serves on my committee, and he went with me to Salina to see their Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge. And it's fun to see these kids. Some of them are already doing businesses and making money.
And isn't it interesting that I will say it over and over and over and over and over again. It's not that youth don't like school, it's that they don't find the education they're learning applicable at the time.
Exactly.
And so if there's no application to this, if there's no light that I can see at the end of this tunnel as to why I'm doing this, then it's kind of hard to keep the attention. You know, it really is.
Like, why do I need math? Why do I need English?
I mean,
they don't always understand, but it's so important. If
Yeah.
you can get them to be excited about something,
Yeah.
then, hopefully they'll be a productive adult.
Yeah. And the realization that math is used in everything from cooking to,
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever stood there and
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
oh, what is
they're
this?
having to learn that as they're figuring out the cost for their product.
Well, yeah. And that's amazing. Those are an opportunity for life lessons to be learned. Where otherwise, if you weren't doing it, then it wouldn't be getting done. Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. And then is that kind of the role that you as the director feel is beneficial for the Newton Chamber of Commerce to go? Like to be able to continue to think outside the box, be a visionary, help entrepreneurs create a vision with you. I mean, I'm watching you do this, Pam.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun because it's part of that Network Kansas. I had a friend that was at the McPherson Chamber, and she's like, you need to get involved in this. This is a great program. And so we did, and I'm so glad we did because we're doing the gap financing, we're doing the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge. We've also done Ice House entrepreneurship training for adults. We just finished that in the fall. So we're really trying to grow our entrepreneurs because I think we need that. We need to think of people that can start a business. Look at my daughter-in-law, Erica Stevens, that did the bridal Bella Vale. She's one of those entrepreneurs. It's fun to foster that and see them grow and really take off.
Yeah, because that business has a long life ahead of it, as long as people in the community nurture it.
And support it.
Yeah.
We just really have to support local. I think, I talk to the business community, the retail community a lot, that you're only open the hours that we're all at work that you need to switch. And we're working on it. Yeah. But, being open at least one evening a week, because that's when people shop is in the evening. They don't have time during the day.
Yeah, they really don't.
No.
I know that if there, I will agree with what you said. I think I could sum it up as that. If there was more businesses downtown that were open in the evening time on a Monday through Friday, I would gladly go down there and try to support my local businesses. And I say it, there's some really cool things happening. We're seeing a lot of that mentality. I want to say that seed was planted years ago to support local, to support these businesses, because I see a lot of these businesses where people would otherwise be going to Wichita or some other area, and then they're like, well, we don't have that here in Newton. Let's put that here in Newton. And then the community's like, hey, we have this here in Newton. I like the movie theater.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the movie theaters. Like, I'd rather go to our movie theater than go fight the crowd, in my opinion. But
we're known too. We have a lot of antique stores.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize there's a lot of people that come in antique in Newton all the time. I think we have about 5 or 6. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
What's happening there.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't think it.
No.
You wouldn't think it.
You wouldn't.
But it is. It is. And if you haven't been in any one of those shops, I'm not going to name any one of those shops, but they're even, if you notice, trying to digitize some of that. Have you noticed?
I know.
Where they're getting on the social medias and they're taking pictures and they're putting it out there and they're showing like on a level where the main traffic is happening now online, what they have to offer.
And they're a destination. Yeah. If you know you're coming and there's that many, you can hit different ones and they all kind of support each other, which is neat.
I wonder how many people come to Newton, shop at the antique shops, and then go to the bread basket to eat.
Probably a lot of people.
I mean, it just kind of makes sense, it's right there, and it's a good spot to eat and all that. So would you say that part of what the chamber does is do that, the responsibility is to uncover some of these businesses that might not otherwise be visible, and then by doing that, just accentuate why people should make Newton a destination location?
Yeah, and we're there to support them. I mean, sometimes we've lost maybe a business, but we're like, you need to reach out before you get to that point. We're there to see whatever we can do to support you, because there can be tough times. I mean, I don't think we lost a business during COVID, which was very lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, a downtown business, we managed to keep everybody, which was very, very, very fortunate. We're very lucky in that regard. But is it still tough? Yeah. Restaurants, it's tough. The cost of food really makes it difficult. So people don't complain when they raise their prices a little bit. If you've not been to the grocery store, you know you're paying it.
Yeah.
And we want them to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. And support local. Once
Yeah.
again, support local
is so important.
I mean, I would much rather go to Genova's than any other Italian place outside that I got to drive 30 miles to.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather go get a nice brick oven fired pizza down here. I mean, we have, it's just cool what we have here. And if people are not hip to it, or you're watching it from somewhere else, there's so many things that we offer in our community for just a nice, chill day.
Exactly. And walkability too.
Yes.
It's fun to just walk around downtown and see what's happening and see the people out. We love to do that at the chamber. We'll take an afternoon and go down and go get coffee, go see our businesses, hear what's going on, be in the know with what they're thinking. That's so important to know we care and that we support them.
Pam, we're getting close to the end, but I want to make sure that I give plenty of time for you to have the floor to be able to just tell the audience who's watching this, who may have some information about the chamber, not has learned some. I mean, just anybody that's viewing this right now. Why should I make the choice to either get involved in the chamber myself or to do it as a business?
Because it means you support our community. We're the community leaders. And so we try to connect everybody together, join and help make our community stronger. We're one of the largest chambers outside the metro area. That's Derby, Andover, all those. We're the second in line underneath the Wichita Chamber. And it's because our community cares and sees the value of what we're doing. We want to provide the events. We want to keep things going. We want to try to keep our downtown vibrant and continue to grow. And so, join the chamber. We're there to work for you.